And when discussing the light reactions, we had said that this occurs in the thylakoid. So there's the thylakoid. And in studying the light reactions, we remember that there's two photosystems. Which one comes first?
Two.
So PS2 is first. And there's PS1. Remember, there's an electron transport chain between your two photosystems, and there's one right after the second photosystem, which is photosystem 1. Bless you. You're welcome. And then after you have moved your electrons between your two photosystems, you have this big protein off to the side that is taking all of the electrons. Remember, your electrons were excited not just once, but twice. And your electrons get dumped off at this protein. Remember, this is also the time where you take NADP and make from that NADPH. What type of a reaction is that? Very good. A reduction reaction. Because reduction means to gain electrons as well as H, and we'll describe the H movement later. We should give a name to this enzyme. It's reducing NADP, correct? So it would make sense that we could call this enzyme NADP reductase. Because it's going to reduce, add an electron and a hydrogen to NADP. Right? And of course we know all enzymes end in A, so it's logical. Yes. Also, there was this enzyme that was helping to alleviate a proton gradient, an electrochemical gradient, by allowing H pluses to flow through it. What was the name of this enzyme? I heard someone say it was ATP synthase, which of course is going to be generating ATP. And it's able to generate the ATP from ADP and an organic phosphate. Right? Now as your H pluses flow through, remember that your H pluses are actually going up to the reductase and working with that electron to form the NADPH, which leaves us with two overall major products of the light reactions. Your two major products being the NADPH, the reducing power, as well as the ATP. Cool? So pretty logical stuff, right? Now let's focus on something a little bit different real quick. If I want to remind you how the electrons are moving. Something like that, right? We're going to call this linear electron flow. Because the electrons are moving kind of in a line. Now, this is the way you were taught the other day. It's the way we've just said it again. This actually is not a reality, the way the electrons are moving. So I'm going to show you what reality really is. What reality really is. That's redundant. So I'm going to get you to draw a thylakoid out for a second time. Kind of looks like a finger, actually, if you think about it. Like an oval that ran off the page. What comes first? Photosystem 1, right? PS2. Then there's PS1. Right? And of course we've got our specialty enzyme over off to the side. What was its name?
An ADP.
ADP reductase. And of course at the bottom we have the ATP synthase. Which is allowing the movement of H pluses. In order to generate the ATP. I think that's good stuff. Remember that the primary movement of your electron starts at the chlorophyll pigment as it absorbs a photon from the sun. See, there's the sun up there. I should have probably used this color. Right? Which is a misconception a little bit. But yeah, photon strikes the chlorophyll pigment. The electrons get excited and they start their movement, correct? But I said that a while ago that actually isn't really the way it is. So let me show you. The electrons do start at the photosystem 2. They're excited to the primary acceptor, carried in this electron transport chain to photosystem 1. That's the same that you learned, your electron transport chains. And what I taught you the other day was that the electron bounces up and then it moves on. Well, when this electron is excited, and this is where you have to pay very close attention, when this electron is excited, it has an equal likelihood of being picked up by this electron transport chain and equal likelihood of being picked up by this electron transport chain. How many different electron transport chains are there? So what's the chance of it going to the left one?
50%.
Okay, great. So this would be 50% of the time you go this way, and 50% of the time you go this way. Now, if you go back, well, you just run through it a second time. You get excited again, and maybe you do go on, and maybe you get recycled.
Does it go all the way back to PS2, or is it just like...
It'll go back to this part of the electron transport chain.
Back to the beginning of the chain?
Now, if you think about it statistically, if you bounce up, you have 50% of going to the left or to the 50% of going to the right, etc., correct?
Yeah.
Well, you come back down and you end up at PS1 again. You get bounced back up, still a 50% chance, right?
Are you losing energy when you do that?
Not at all. But what we could agree to say is that it's like an equal likelihood. It's like for every time it's going to be linear, there's going to be a time that it's cyclic, if you think about just the statistical logic of it. Now, in your drawing the other day, I haven't drawn this in there yet, but there was something that was going on right through here. It was about tricking the H+. There was H+ out here, and as the electron gets excited and starts to venture back down, it brings H+ inside.